What's going on, Juneteenth family?
I have to take the lead because if I don't now, when will I do it?
These are all grassroots mixes from since 90.
And risks are important. Risk creates results.
Make sure that you surround yourself with not only the word, but with positivity.
Foremost for having me on for Lunch and Learn.
We start off by wearing all of the hats. Pun intended right there on the hat.
But
we start
special needs children
I have over 30 years plus experience as a quality professional.
We basically reconstructed what we took part in deconstruct all of street maintenance. That's how we came up with street maintenance.
I almost had to deal with MCA Records at the age of 19.
Wait a
I also partner with other daycares. We're not in a competition yet. We're not in a competition.
What's going on, Juneteenth family? Another edition of the Lunch and Learn session. I am your host, Kiara, aka MBG. I'm excited to be here today. We are joined by an amazing sister today. Who am I talking about? Kelli Cooper, okay? She is a Tulsa native, shout out to Tulsa, and a powerhouse in business consulting and event planning. With a background in psychology, she's pioneering cleaning businesses with a focus on mental health while pursuing further studies in family counseling and law. That's deep. That's deep. Outside of work, Kelli finds joy in gardening, dancing, and outdoor activities and adventures. Based in Bed-Stuy, shout out to Bed-Stuy, okay. She's deeply involved in her community, spearheading a nonprofit dedicated to rebuilding Black Wall Street. And above all, Kelli is proudly a mom, okay? So shout out to the moms. Happy Mother's Day again. Can we please bring Kelli up to the stage?
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, Kelli, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
All right, so, that was an extensive bio, but I want to open the floor by letting you give some background of, your upbringing, who you are, and how we get this Kelli today.
Oh, that's funny. Not my upbringing, because I got 15 brothers and sisters.
Okay.
So that definitely played a huge role in who I am today. I'm not even gonna act like it didn't.
And what number are you? What number are you?
I'm number 6.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm number 6, and then whatever our parents was doing. So I'm 6 on this side, and I'm 2 on another side.
Got you.
But I'm here.
Got you.
Yeah, I'm in between, but I'm a Tulsa native, born and raised. I've been in New York for about like 10 years now, so that's like the mark of like being a New Yorker.
We've accepted you over. We've accepted you over.
When I go back home, I've been gone so long, I don't belong no more. So it's just like, where do I fit now? Move, it's like, where do you fit now? That's what's crazy.
Definitely.
Pieces to the puzzle, because where do I fit in all of this? And that's my whole thing with my nonprofit that I founded, Universal Hands, which is focused on revitalizing a Black owned and operated financial district. And so all of my work is definitely centered around that. The law that I've recently picked up is more geared towards my nonprofit, focusing on building a law firm.
Okay.
An investment firm, not a law firm, an investment firm. An investment firm. And so now me picking up laws, just kind of going with how my nonprofit has been moving. At first, I was doing a lot of community work and, a lot of hands-on and giving away things. And I think now I'm just really trying to get to the top where the money is as far as my nonprofit sector goes and who I'm trying to reach. So just a little bit. Yeah, I love outdoor activity. I'm very adventurous. I skate, volleyball, basketball. I'm just active all around. I always encourage people to be active, just for longevity, especially since we, of course, we're talking about building businesses and sustaining businesses. and and passing down legacy, and you need to be healthy for those type of things, so
Ab-
staying
ab-
active.
Absolutely. Health is the first wealth. So I agree with that
Yeah.
100%. So I know you have a background in psychology. Um, Tell us a little bit about that. What was the inspiration behind that? How do you utilize that background today? I know, you focus on mental health as well, and which we'll dig a little deeper into. But yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's funny because I'm actually not even really utilizing that degree, unless on my own, like analyzing
Mm-hmm.
people,
Mm-hmm.
trying to
Mm-hmm.
cancel them. Like, yeah, I know what's wrong with you. Tell me, like, you know, uh, and of that nature. But actually, I was interested in psychology, and it's centered around my nonprofit and what I'm doing with it, because I'm studying brain activity and how we can speed up our brain process to get things done faster. I'm all about togetherness and what can connect us. That's the funny thing, pieces to the puzzle, right? So we're
Yeah.
all pieces to this puzzle and how we can connect. And I think the mental health field and what I learned as far as that goes, just plays a role into me redeveloping Black Wall Street and the idea of reconstructing a financial district, and the understanding that we do need to be mentally healthy in order for even that type of thought process to take place, right? To be
Yeah.
thinking, how are we going to reconstruct a Black owned and operated financial district, which is a heavily concentrated area of financial institutions that can sustain our economic growth? So
Yeah.
just thinking of that is like you have to be in a healthy space mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and so that's really just how my degree ties into that. I'm just interested in brain activity and neuroscience and how we can begin to move faster, process things on a faster speed. Like we're like the original AI at this point.
Right, right, absolutely. And I was gonna ask you, what is that research even like? What are some of the things that you can think off the top of your head that you've learned? What just digging deeper into brain activity that's like,
I think
oh, I
one of my main focus try to focus on is like how we're consciously and unconsciously moving through our daily behaviors. So some
mm-hmm,
of our daily behaviors are because it's repetitious, right? And our
mm-hmm,
muscles have remembered what to do. We're not actually consciously thinking about moving throughout our day. So just actually getting a hold consciously of what you're doing on a daily
yeah,
basis. Okay, I'm waking up. Okay, what am I doing today? Like grasping, and focusing on your
mm-hmm,
thoughts versus
mm-hmm.
just getting up and, just moving, going to work, doing this, and then you ever like drove a car or something, you're like, how did I even get here? Right? Because your muscle memory, right? It's like
Yeah.
you forget. So I think just grasping like and getting a hold of our daily, thought process and how that is going to control how fast we tend to move and focus our attention on what we, are thinking about is going to help.
When I think about just you saying that is really it just brought something to my brain because I'm like, we it's almost like we just wake up and we just go. Like we just do things. And when you think about it, it's like, oh, this is so repetitious. Just like you say, we're in the groove of doing things without even consciously thinking about it. But we're always using our brain. Like our brain is always working, you know,
Mhm.
over time. Like literally the things that you learn from a baby to now, you're still using those same concepts, but just in different ways. So it just amazes me when I think about that, like, how we apply certain things even in our, later years that we've learned so long ago, but
Yeah.
it's still in our brain, it's still not, we use these same concepts. And just to go back on what you were talking about, with the Black community and like the economic disparities and the impact of like finances within the Black community, right, and mental health and the outcomes, like how those two things correlate between each other. Like I feel like we oftentimes kind of overlook the fact that finances and mental health have some kind of compatibility when you're talking about the Black community, like, because of the struggle, because people struggle. And how do we I don't even know how to pose the question. I guess, how do we open the question? How do we open a topic on that and really bring awareness to how much that plays a part in our Black communities, like the economic disparities and, mental health and the correlation between the two?
I think all right, so my main focus is like effective counseling, right? And effective therapy. Like, I feel like a lot of the therapy sometimes that we can receive can be watered down. We've been in a place where people have listened to our stories and been touched by the pain of the story, right? But it's like we can never get enough information to propel us into where we need to be. So it's always like, yeah, I understand you, but then after that, it's like we go back to the pain. And so with my nonprofit and mental health and it's focused on challenging our brains, right? Challenging us physically, challenging us financially, and thinking outside the box. And that goes back to like our daily activities. Like I said, some of us, this stuff is new. This business idea, like these families, thinking of all these things is just the internet and it's getting intertwined, right?
Yeah.
Some of these concepts are really new to people. And it's not this, I can't say it's their fault, but it's just like, it's I guess the system, right? Like how it was all moving, right? And so what we really need to do is just challenge ourselves. And that's where I am with the mental, challenging our mental. Because like you said, some of this stuff we was doing since we was a kid. So of course you know how to put something to your mouth, right? But can you get on a computer, search and make some things happen? Of course you know how to walk and you carry little conversations that may not even mentally challenge you. Throughout your whole lifetime, and that's one thing I encourage people, always like learn and challenge your brain because it has the capacity to do things possibly you don't even know what it can do,
Yeah.
But with our mental health, I think with the Black community, that's definitely something that I'm focused on, like connectivity, like counseling centered around basically real change. Like I'm not about like coddling anybody, and I know that we've been through a lot, but I'm just right now with the mental health, I'm at a point where we can, see our strength and use it to propel us,
Yeah.
We don't have to hang on to the past or dwell into it or waiting for somebody to recognize that we've done all of this or done all of that, and that's the whole thing about putting the pieces back to the puzzle because the blueprint to Black Wall Street was already there, and then I always get these stories like, yeah, we was prosperous and they destroyed and it's just like, yeah, that's just a part of life. You understand? Life just be lifing, I don't want our community to get caught up in like, it's this idea that you can push yourself into a depression. Like you literally push yourself into like a mental breakdown. You have the mental capacity though. I don't know, like that's so hard to understand. Like
No, it is. Is it what you're saying is real? It's absolutely real. And what it just brings to mind with me is that the challenge that I think is like the biggest challenge is just people believing that. Believing that you've got the mental capacity. Because, of course, yes, the struggle, yes, pain, yes, we've been, like, everybody challenges are different. Everybody's stress is different. We all come with something that we carry in. But to understand and not, I guess, not dwell in it, or not like, because I personally, like, I try not to soak in whatever is quote unquote bad at the time, or, whatever I'm going through that's like, all right, this is a real challenge for me. Instead of focusing on the literal challenge, like, let's focus on what the solution is, and I feel like if people, I think that that's the change, and it's not always easy because when you in the motion of you feeling something, I always allow, or I try to allow myself the grace to feel it. Like, I'm not a robot. I'm going to feel, if I'm feeling sad right now, I'm gonna feel sad, like for the moment. But I know that I absolutely have to, pull myself out of it, because I am the only person that could literally pull myself out of it. I could have conversation with somebody that could, give me the encouragement, or, guide me in a direction. But physically, I have to do it myself. And I think that's where the challenge comes in, at a high volume in our communities, because a lot of us don't believe that we could, like, the grass is green on the other side.
Yeah. And a lot of that, like you said, with our mental health has everything to do with what we hear, what we see, what we're eating. All of these things are like playing a role in our environment and how we see ourselves. You understand? And how we move throughout our life. I have a lot of these conversations with like the Black community, and every time I get into the groups, it becomes like trauma bonding. It doesn't like a solution-based type of conversation. It always becomes trauma bonding. We bring up my scar and your scar and look at our scars, and they hurt, but it's never like, okay, now how do we fix it? You understand? If we can get more people who can center their focus on the solution instead of the problem, then we can begin to move faster. If we, change our diets, what we're eating, what we're seeing, the music that we're hearing and spitting out to our communities, if we begin to change these things, then we can move faster. That's what I mean by the brain and the neural pathways and the activity, right? The neurotransmitters, which is the people that send the messages in your head, right? They're moving slow. They're sending messages slow in our brain. They because of the sugar, the processed sugar, the red dye, the constant hearing of things like you're not this, you're not that, or and so it's like all of those things are intertwining and playing with how we're going to move forward, So I think the mental health is definitely going to be, that's my whole umbrella, like I said, getting to solution-based conversations on how we begin to move forward and at a faster pace.
Yes. So we got a question that just popped up. Anna says, where's your organization located, and how can some support your business? Is there a contact, and how does the community get involved with business or organization?
Oh, okay. So yes, you can reach me at Community Restoration on Instagram, Universal Hands on Facebook, on Linktree, Universal 1921. My email, and I'm in between two states. Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn, but I'm in between two states. So I do work here in New York and in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So, and with that, basically what we're doing, so we're building a bridge for entrepreneurship and prosperity from the north to the south. So begin to connect Black businesses in the north to those Black businesses in the south, and use logistics to ship the products. So that's how I'm intertwined in between two states. But
no, I love that within itself. And first of all, I wanted to tell you I love the Universal Hands. The name, what inspired that name, I think is very meaningful. But what inspired it for you?
It's funny. So at first I was working on women's restoration, right? I was going through a spiritual journey, and I was changing as well. The way that the women are, right? Like we've already seen this, especially if you're in tune spiritually with the world and what's going on around you, you can kind of see into the future on where things are moving, and you move accordingly. And so my nonprofit was first focused on women's restoration. It was going to be focused on just women's restoration. And my vice president, I linked with him, and he was centered around men's restoration, men's mental health, and how that played a part in the family dynamic. And so we got together and was like, you know what, it's going to take like a family dynamic for something like this to go on. And so then we put it together in this Universal Hands Foundation. So it's going to take Universal Hands to accomplish something like this, to literally reconstruct a Black owned and operated financial district. I don't even know if people begin to even think of what that might look like. Like a lot of people I don't know if they see that as being something possible, if that's far-fetched, but to even think like what a Black owned and operated financial district might look like, so
Where do we even, and not to cut you off, but just what you're saying, that sometimes, yeah, people might not even know what that looks like. Where do we even start, and how do we build that foundation to begin on such a mass, something with such capacity?
Man, so I need y'all help. That's why I'm here. I can't do it. I can't do it on my own. I need help. It's crazy. So that's why pieces to the puzzle. We all are a piece to this puzzle that we want, because at the end of the day, we don't want our work to go in vain. We're not doing all of this. We want to be able to sustain this. It's not just some little spurt that we have after COVID. This is something that ain't on us. It's been in us. And so it's like we want to sustain it. And the pieces to the puzzle is everybody, putting their hand in it. So now that's why I moved in with the investment firm. So now if someone wanted, the investment firm is focused literally only on the reconstruction of Black Wall Street. That's it. So you can put your money into it and look for anything else. The only thing it's focused on is reconstructing Black Wall Street. That's it. And so an investment firm is where I moved towards, and then just connecting all the small businesses across states. Like my network is so extensive. I got to talk to so many people, but connecting and building bridges of opportunity across state. One thing I always talk to people about how like some people will have to begin to move out of these inner cities and move according to how they thrive, like what type of business possibly they family have and how that might benefit somewhere in the South, or like benefit somewhere in the Midwest. Like we're going to have to just begin to start connecting these things two by two, it's going to take some funds. And I think that's where I'm like, okay, I got to bring all these funds into one, and that's the investment firm. And if anybody want to see, and the return will be Black Wall Street. That's going to be the return on the investment.
Come on, Kelli, you better talk to me directly, okay? Because you saying this, but in my mind, I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what you want to do, what you need to do as far as business wise. Even what you're saying with the whole like relocating. I'm born and raised Brooklyn, New York. I've went to school in North Carolina A&T, so I've grown that's my second home, North Carolina, and things of that nature. And I'm like, what? I love the South. Like I'm a city girl, but I want to transition and bring my business. Like I've ran a successful business here, my clientele, and not saying, all right, cool, I'm done with New York, I gotta go PC later. But it's like, I see an opportunity in a place that may not have what I have to offer. So why not take this there and, just bridge that gap along the way?
That's my whole thing with you Blacks here in the North. Like y'all gotta hustle so crazy. It's just crazy. Like it brings tears to my eyes. It's crazy. That's literally what I'm trying to connect. Like it's like y'all got mom and pop shops up here. Y'all have businesses. Like sometimes when I get to talking about the business, they be like, where we got up and having my family business. Like they've been in these streets. They're in these neighborhoods in Bed-Stuy. Like that's Black community right there. I see it right there at its finest, but I also see the struggles as well. And so I think like that's the whole thing with the connection, that the Black people up here is sustaining this economy. You understand? Like that whole, like
that's crazy.
Sustain this economy up here, this city idea, this New York idea. They're sustaining this, right? And they have the economic power. We in the South don't have no economic power because it's so little, but we have the work in the drive, if that makes sense. Like we have the land.
Yes.
So it's places it's like you can build there, right? But we need the people with the hustle to come build.
Absolutely.
So it's weird.
And it's like you can get so much more, like I feel like it's kind of oversaturated with like, and not saying that it's not enough room for everybody, because you can have a million pizza shops, you know, pizza is still, everybody's still gonna eat. You still go, somebody's still gonna come in and get, you know, but it's like, okay, yeah, I could do this here, but I could also go somewhere that is less saturated and have a bigger impact and be able to have a bigger space and be able to connect and service more people and be, so everything that you're saying, it absolutely is just like bing, bing, the light bulb, the brain is going, because absolutely like,
now this I go back to the mental health to see the benefits of it, you know, like the benefits of it. And so I think here's the thing, like this type of thing and where we've got lost as far as like generations go, you know, they were willing to make the sacrifice back then. But now it's just like, you know, what are we willing to make the sacrifice for? So I'm trying to see who gonna sacrifice for Black Wall Street, like who gonna sacrifice for a Black owned and operated financial district. That's a huge sacrifice, and it's definitely something huge we can see. It's a tangible source that we can all work on. It gives us one common goal. You know, we're not all over the place because we're all building businesses and we're all business consultants. We have events and all of this. Everybody's pretty much doing the same stuff. It's so repetitious, right? But it's like, who gonna invest in, you know, sustaining that? You know, it's all cute now, but we want to make sure that we trying to be Rockefellers and Bezos and stuff like that, you know. And so it's like, how do we sustain our economic power and the growth as we move forward? And even looking, you know, as far as like the money and the forex and the trade, like all of these things are playing a bigger role in our business development. So everyone is like building a business. Yeah, it's like, that's cool, but it's like, it's other stuff going on. It's technology, it's AI, it's people from outside of the country buying land up. Is that even going to be an opportunity for you to have your business here in the next 5 years? You don't even know if your landlord going to own this in the next. You know, so it's like a lot of those things we have to be, you know, paying attention to, not just the LLC and the sole proprietorship, but, you know, actually looking at how are we going to sustain our economic growth as we move forward. And I also think that it opens up a door for us to trade with other countries, you know, and open up our, you know, opportunities for our own people across seas. You know, we can use it and connect with Africa. My whole thing is, you know, building bridges with them so that they can help us sustain this economic growth and power here, so that we can have two strong powers. You know, it's just like, depending on how we want to use it, move, and, you know, and that all going to go back into the mental health and what we're actually focused on as a people.
Absolutely. And what is some, I guess, what is some, I don't know if I want to say questions, but just like you said, because having a business is more than just the LLC and, you know, the paperwork and actually like, okay, I'm running this business, because you just mentioned some things and I'm like, no, that's so real, because you're looking at these properties or, you know, these storefronts or this or that, and you're investing in that, but just like you just mentioned, you don't know if the landlord is going to own that, you know, or if somebody's going to come and take this over, take that over. What are some key things that you would advise an entrepreneur or business owner, somebody to pay attention to, or to, if you could put like a key list of 5 things that you need to be, you know, informed on outside of the norm when running a business? You should pay attention to financial literacy of this and that. Like, what are some things that you would give them?
I would definitely say the financial market and how it's moving as far as like your area and your product, you know. The financial market for sure. I would say like your area, just period, like the area, right? So like we might get a cheaper deal on the area that they might be trying to, they just slick. I can't even explain it. But you might think you're getting a deal. But really, you getting played, the plum and all of that. I don't know. You just you might think you're getting a deal. Certain neighborhoods and stuff look for development and where development is actually taking place. Somebody push you over there the whole time they're not even developing nothing over there.
Yeah.
So you want to look into that for sure. And one thing with Black business, is I always encourage people to get into business, that like is a piece of them, like how you have your business, like you said, a praying grandmother. It's like how I think that a lot of people just jumping into business. They're like, oh, I need some extra money. It's that easy, and they jumping into business. A lot of okay, with Black Wall Street, I'm thinking about sustainability. So, one of my main focuses is it won't be a bunch of print shops printing a bunch of crap, like that you just store. People got all types of boxes and share everything just cluttered, right? And that's like a manifestation of the mental clutter that goes on in your mind, right? You keep buying stuff and filling it up. It's a mental manifestation of clutter. And you have thousands of sweaters, thousands of coats and jackets and old shoes and everything. It just piles up. No sustainability. You understand? I think like handmade, authentic stuff. We're going to go back to that handmade cakes, like all of these things, because it's going to be better for our bodies. We're thinking about sustainability and how to live long. Like people gonna think they're gonna be buying a McDonald's and franchise and all of this, but those things are not conducive for our community and where we're trying to move. So when we thinking about starting businesses, we got to think about businesses that is gonna sustain us. We can't just jump into business because that's what it looks like. That's the best thing to do. We can't just jump blindly into business and then to feed our people the same stuff we trying to rid our people of and same mindsets we trying to rid them of. We can't do that. So definitely when you think about business, always rid your mind of clutter.
Yeah, definitely. We have Diana. She says, have a passion for your business. Absolutely. I feel like, if you don't love it, it's going to show. You can't, what I'm saying? Like, not saying you can't, but I don't think it's gonna have the longevity that it can have if you don't really feel passionate about what you do. You don't love it. I oftentimes talk to people and they say, like, if you want to do it for free, that ain't what you would do. That ain't like, because you have to have, especially when building something, from ground up, it's going to be so many loops and turns and twists and challenges. And if you don't love it, oh, nah, you wasting your time. You wasting your time. And then we have Anna. She says, what do you think would be a good investment for Black entrepreneurs? That's a good question.
Right now, a good investment is definitely going to be tech, of course, because it's always moving. Now, health and beauty is definitely always going up. They're moving into more like self-sustaining products, naturally made products. So, but right now I think tech is where it's at, right? Like tech is definitely where it's at because tech is about to revamp how we look at business, period, and how we operate a business, period. Because now, you don't even have to have anybody doing your QuickBooks and none of that at this point. Honestly, like literally today, you got an AI app that can literally run your business for you, and so that cuts out the middleman. And, we need to be up on tech. We need to be knowing how to run and operate these things. I'm always positive about the future and where tech is moving us. So we have to definitely be up on tech. The latest tech that's coming out. I mean, some of the tech that's out there, you wouldn't even believe it. You have to go to these like tech conventions and stuff and start looking up some of the stuff that they got out there. It's not your regular household items, right? It's not your little computer, your little MacBook.
Right.
No, they got some,
technology is crazy. And I wanted to ask you about that, like as far as like AI and all of the things that are advancing in technology so swiftly. Like, how do you feel that that's a plus for entrepreneurs and business and financial, like the financial aspect of business? And do you feel there's any negative like aspect to it of this might not be so good?
mental health. So I'm all about like, you know what, tech is gonna make your life easier, right? I know like people are nervous, like, okay, what am I gonna do? Well, what are you gonna do? Like, what do you mean? What are you gonna do? Like, it's so many possibilities now. Like,
Right.
time is like that's where the mental capacity that you was talking about comes into play. Because now, do you have the mental capacity to govern yourself and tell yourself what to do and how to operate as you should? Like, do you gotta wait on somebody to give you a job, or can you produce something with your own two hands? Right? Like, what can you produce with your own two hands? You don't gotta wait on somebody to put you to work, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's the great thing about technology. It's gonna free up people's time, right? Like they're gonna get to enjoy the outdoor more and do, you know, more outdoor activities and stuff.
Yeah.
For me, I like mentally wise, I feel like it's gonna be just helpful. I feel like I don't see any, you know, it got its bad parts to it. I'm ignoring that part. I'm always hopeful about technology. I ain't trying to think about it. They ain't watching us and taking over nothing. I ain't
Kelli
thinking
said,
about
I'm not
that.
even going to speak it
Yeah,
into
I'm thinking about drones
that ain't
putting
happening.
picnics
That ain't
together
happening.
and stuff. I ain't thinking about yeah, I'm thinking about drones watering the flowers and everything, you know? So I'm always like, I feel like tech is going to free up people's time. It's going to allow them to use their brain and creativity. And that's where we begin to challenge the brain's capacity to do certain things, you know?
Yeah.
I tell people, you know, for 30 years, and even I work in catering on the side, right, in the kitchen. And for 30 years, some people been here, right, like just cutting up onions or something, right? That's not challenging your brain. And so you can imagine for that long, you have not challenged your brain to do anything outside of the norm. And so all it knows is the norm. And I think technology, that's going to be a perfect way for us to challenge our brains outside of what we're normally challenging them to do, which is just wake up, brush our teeth, and wipe our butt.
Seriously. And it just, in the simplest term for me, is just like work smarter, not harder. Right. And me, myself, I'm a person that, like, even with the iPhone and, you know, all this, the updates and the latest tech, and sometimes I get in my own way of like, I ain't doing that update. No, I don't need that. Like, no, I'm not learning this. No, I'm not getting on no chat GPT. Like, no, like, you know, but then it's like, okay, I'm going to fight against the evolution of something growing, or am I going to just, you know, accept it for what it is? I can't stop it. So I can accept it and actually take the time to learn it and see, oh, this is actually making my life easier. Like, this is actually, just like you said, cutting out the middleman. But sometimes I think that people, and it goes back to just being stuck in our ways of like, nah, I do it this way. Okay.
Yeah.
Just because you do it this way doesn't mean that, you know, it's not 10 other ways that it can be done. So just identifying with, you know, the purpose of it, and it is to help us, you know, free up time and things like that. And we got innovative resilience says time is money, yeah, but knowledge is power, both, right? It's like, yo, let's free up this time,
Yeah,
let me
no,
learn
literally,
about these
just like
things.
just a couple years ago, somebody had to sit and type all this stuff out for
Yeah,
hours. That was time. Now it's just like time is money. Like she said, I don't need nobody sitting there typing at no desk. Girl, you better go find something to do with your time. Productive, right? Like you better go start your business. Hurry up. We're giving out money.
yeah, yes. So okay, I wanna ask for like, you know, the entrepreneurs and the business owners, and, you know, with resources, finding resources, financial resources, or, you know, sponsorship and investment, and like people to invest in your business. How sometimes that's challenging. Just for me being an entrepreneur myself, sometimes I find myself, and I could Google till I can't Google no more, but actually being able to, like, okay, I've applied for this, I've applied for that, you know, I'm doing this, or I'm thinking I'm doing, and it could very well be like, okay, maybe you just missing, you know, this one little piece, but that process sometimes is challenging. What would you advise, or what is some things that you can tell us or share with us that can help us kind of open that door of gaining that knowledge of how we need to go about finding this funding, because the money is there. I know the money is there.
I know. That's what I'm
Finding
saying. When somebody said that, well, the first one is funding your own business, right? Like people want to see you putting into what you asking for, right? So it's like, don't ask me to put more into something you want to put, right? So it's like people want to see you literally eating out a trash can before they help you. Okay, so
that's real.
They want to literally see you, like literally down to your last shoestring, okay, and the cup noodle. So yeah, that's definitely the thing right there, always. And I think keeping an open mind with your story, that's what drew me to you too. And that's literally what kept my mind on you, is your story. So always having a story, always keeping in mind like who your target group is, because you're not trying to sell to everybody. So it's like, who is your target group? Like, who are you actually trying to sell to? You know, some people might not buy that, or some people don't care about a praying grandmother. They didn't have one at all. You understand? So it's like when they hear certain things, it's like it's a target group that you want to focus on, certain words that you want to impact the people who are actually drawn to certain things like that, you know? So that's definitely, and I think a marketing strategy now and an online presence is going to be where it's at. An online presence for sure, like using keywords in your online presence when you're building whatever websites. If some people are listening, make sure you're using like keywords for your website building and things of that nature. But listen, AI, baby, gonna do all of that. Like AI, this is what I'm telling you. AI gonna have the right color schemes that draw people's eyes to you. It's gonna have everything accessible on the right side where they easy click. It ain't gonna make it too, you know. And guess what? It's gonna use the right words to draw attention to your website, right? I think if you use AI based, right, it's even gonna have the connection with the Google and all of that. So they talking, you know, like.
No, and that's so real. And just like I said, I'm learning that more and more. Like, oh, wait a minute, this is exactly what was in my brain. And you, okay, now it's you're absolutely right with that. And you know, just using that to your advantage, it definitely helps grow business. Okay, so we have another comment. Some things I learned to help us is collaborative engagement. Absolutely. Working together is aligned organizations and businesses to help find the gaps, like a transfer, all coming together as one. Yes.
Exactly. Yes. That's what I love. That's what we all about, right? Because it's like, it's too much work, right? Like I can't even put it on one organization. Even when I'm hearing these comments, like they'll bring up some of the old leaders. I'm like, well, Martin Luther King couldn't do it on his own. Like it's only so much one person can go to bat for. You understand? Until you need a whole team behind you. You need a train, a force, you know? And I think Black businesses that are already running, moving, and operating, that's going to be my train of force. Black organizations that's already pushing Black economics and financial literacy in the community's health and wealth and financial growth. And they put in youth intervention, you know, because the whole thing about sustaining our businesses is that we got to educate our own children about our businesses. So we got to rethink how our children are being educated and what they're being educated on. We got to redo our curriculum and focus on education that's centered around our community, you know, and our growth. And so it's going to take educators, it's going to take doctors, it's going to take lawyers, it's going to take innovators, it's going to take influencers, it's going to take everybody. But the one common goal is that we're focused on rebuilding a Black-owned and operated financial district to sustain our economic growth. That's all the pieces to the puzzle.
Let's piece it together. Come on, because we need each other for real.
Hey, trying now. Like
it's amazing. Teamwork make the dream work. We need
yeah,
each other.
pretty much. When one win, we all win. That's all we gotta understand. Sometimes
Yes.
it's like you be in the background watching somebody win, you be jealous. Whole time they winning for you. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know, like they put in the work so you can win. You understand? So
yes. And I was even having that conversation with a gentleman the other day that I was sitting down interviewing. I said, you know, I was telling him about what I had a praying grandmother, you know, what it means, what we stand for. And I said, what is most important to me is the generational responsibility, right? My generational responsibility here is to absolutely, yes, this is a message that we could all relate to, people resonate with, yes. But the generational responsibility here is that I come from a lineage of grandmothers and people that paved the way for me to be able to be here today. So my win is their win. You know what I'm saying? They won for me to be able to be here today. So it's more than just a saying. It's a responsibility that I have because now I'm here and I got 10 generations that's coming after me that's going to be able to say, you know what? She started something for our family, or she started something, you know, and I'm like, we have to take on that responsibility. Just like you mentioned, Martin Luther King ain't do it by himself. He had to, he needed the people, but we needed these marches. We needed these people fighting on these front lines. So we have to create that for our time in real time. Like we can't just talk about it. We got to actually create that. So I love that, you know, that's your focus and that's what you're building because it's absolutely needed, you know, and it's conversations that we have, but we're going to talk to our faces blue without actually doing something about it. So we have to implement these things to do something about it. And I wanted to ask you about just balance. I know your mom, I know you know, you do have your nonprofit, you're doing this, you're in the community. How do you balance between everything? How do you balance between your responsibilities and still sustain and take care of yourself at the same time?
That's so funny because it's like I've been so busy since I was mad young. I had a job since I was 14 years old. I was working. Then I had my son when I was young. I was working. I was a straight A student. I was in all types of clubs, just busy. And it almost seemed like that has become my norm, right? Like when I'm not doing something, I'm anxious. Like I feel like, you know, I got something to do. Like ain't no way. Like I'm always like, I conjure up a to-do list, clean walls. Like,
I understand.
like I just drive myself crazy if I don't have nothing to do. And I think actually I enjoy staying busy. So staying busy really is good for me. Like I like to stay busy. I like to be productive. I like to be resourceful. You know, I'm always moving and, you know, exercise. I'm in the gym like 2-3 times a week. And so that's good for me. Like I feel like when I'm at a resting point is when I'm not resting. Like I'm like my mind feel like I'm doing something wrong when I'm resting, which is crazy. But I just went and checked out this new spa, QC spa on Governor's Island.
Okay. Haven't been yet.
Oh, it's mad nice. Mad nice. Yeah, I don't do that for myself. Take a couple $100 and do that. But that's really just how I just create balance for myself. You know, I like to be involved in the community. I'm a people person. I like to be around people. I'm in tune with the energy in the world around me. And so I like to be a helping hand. And so I love signing up, volunteering and doing whatever. That's just what I do. So, and you know, if not, then I just lay on my phone and watch Netflix.
Kelli, pull me up. You need some help? I got you. I come through and I hold it down. What is the future? And I feel like we've absolutely been talking about this all conversation, but what does the future look like for Universal Hands? And how I don't even want to say how soon do you see it all changing, but what does that future look like within the next few years to you right now?
The black and the berry, the sweeter the juice. Listen, this stuff take time. Like, you understand? It's like a diamond in the rough. It's like wine, and I've always kept that mindset as I've moved forward with my nonprofit. I know that it's not going to be something that's going to happen overnight. It's a slow but steady paced thing that I've jumped into, like you said, for free. I ain't making not a dime yet. So I think just for the future, Universal Hands, like I said, is focused on the investment firm.
Yeah.
So, it's just moving slow and steady. Slow but steady.
No motion better than no motion.
It's all about like a network and a connection, honestly. It's funny because network equals network. You understand? So it's like I don't gotta have all the money. I gotta have access to people who got the money. You understand? Like I don't need to have it in my possession, in my account. If I got access to whoever got it in their account, that's what matters. And so connecting those pieces as far as like the investment firm goes for Universal Hands is my goal, for this year. And like I said, getting into law and pursuing a law degree centered around financial literacy. So I think that's just it for the future right now. It's just slow and steady. Every year it's progressing and changing, and I'm looking forward to how it ages really with me too. Like, with my nonprofit and my age, I think it's just aged so well.
I'm taking a course right now, and at the beginning of the course, they said, your business only grows as much as you grow. And I thought that was real. And I was like, oh, okay. Because sometimes, I feel personally like, all right, cool. I'm right along with you. When I'm not doing something, I'm like, nah, something got to be done right now. Like I got to figure. I'm chilling right now. Like, how did I get 5 minutes to sit down? Like, no, I'm supposed to be doing something right now. Like, you try to use every second of your day and every ounce of energy that you have to pour back into what you're doing because you're that passionate about it. And I was also like, okay, but I also have to take time to pour into me because I have to grow on these levels as well, because I need to be good for this business. So when they said that, I was like, oh, it was like a click for me. Like, okay, like I know, as much as I have to be on it, and I love to be, I still got to find time to rest in those 5 minutes of like, restore yourself at the same time. Like we restoring this, we have so much on our plates, but we also have to give ourselves that time to be able to restore ourselves too. So I'm with you on that.
So you can deal with people. I love to just lay in my bed and just rest my mind. It's always thinking, and it's too much. It's always giving out advice and words of encouragement, pats on the back, affirmations. And when you're not receiving that, but you're always doing that, sometimes that can be draining. So I tend to just back up a little bit and just okay or whatever, and let it go. And I definitely agree with that, because back to the mental health, how can I provide the best services, right, if I'm not mentally right? How can I give you the best customer service, or how can I deal with you on an understanding level if mentally I'm all messed up? So I think that's definitely going to be the most important part as far as entrepreneurship. Your mental health definitely has to be right, so you can deal with people on a healthy level, a business level, and you don't have to look at people as the next dollar. You can look at them as humans, and they consumers, and they like your product, cool, but they're not just the next dollar for you.
Yeah. And that's what sets you apart for sure. We have Angus. He said, setting your long-term goals and having short-term goals, but incorporating flexibility to pivot with the times. Yes, I agree with that for sure.
Especially now with technology. People had business 7-8 years, and now they're like, AI, like they have to literally revamp their business, their phone service and all of that. So
keeping up with the Joneses, we got to do it. We got to do it. We got to do it. Just a few more questions before we get out of here. Who is your favorite hip hop artist?
It is. Lil Baby.
Lil Baby. She said, "Hold on, let me take it to the south."
Let me tell you a funny thing with this rap. I like rap that talk of like I don't like too much violence or whatever, but like when they talk about that money, it just do something to me. Like when they talk about like you on your stuff and how you moving, he talking about he can't miss a jet, he got to get a check. Like that moves me, like that moves me. So.
Kelli said, I'm in the spot. Okay, you post some baby on. We
I'm trying to catch a jet.
Good. I'm robbing. Okay, we chasing this bag. Let's get to it. What does Juneteenth mean to you?
Oh yeah, that's my favorite one. So Juneteenth is all about connectivity for me and restoration.
Yes.
For me, Juneteenth, that's what it means: connectivity and restoration.
Yeah. In its simplest form, I absolutely agree. What do you want the community to take away from our session today?
Support the reconstruction of Black Wall Street. That's like, I'm heavy on that. It's like in your daily life, wherever you are looking into it, like I said, just reach me, Universal Hands on Facebook, Community Restoration on Instagram, and reach out, but please support the reconstruction of Black Wall Street.
Support. And lastly, I love to ask everybody this question. What is one thing you feel you owe yourself now? What's one thing you feel you owe yourself later? And what's one thing you feel you owe yourself one day?
Later. All right. First of all, now I owe myself a check. Later, I owe myself a trip. And on Monday.
And one day.
I owe myself the grace to live.
Come on.
I ain't gave myself no grace. Everybody else did it but me.
We all deserve it. So don't be hard on Kelli. Give her some grace. Give her, she working hard. Give her the grace. Give her the time, Understand she blossoming. She got this thing together. She doing it. She doing it for sure. Real quick before we get out of here, for all of our entrepreneurs that's been chimed in and on the call with us right now, Juneteenth Festival, it is coming up June 15th. We need you to be a part of it. If you would love to be a vendor, please check out our vendor information session that will be taking place May 22nd at 7 p.m. Make sure you chime in. Athenia will give you all of the information, all of the perks, all of the amazingness that will be happening that day that you do not want to miss being a part of. So again, 7 p.m. Wednesday, the 22nd, vendor information session. Just go to our website and register for that. Okay. Also, for the parade is going down this year, all on one day, Saturday, June 15th. We having a parade. We got the festival. Everything is going down. You want to go and register for that, okay? You can register on JuneteenthNYC.org/parade. Okay, it's free. All you have to do is get your ticket up there. So make sure you register so you can be a part of all of the festivities. All right. It is going to be an amazing time. We're at Gershwin Park, and Juneteenth, we here. It is going to be amazing. Kelli, again, thank you so much for your time, because time is money. We know you got to get.
Man, they hear me, and literally, I'm at work. They're going to be like, who she thinks she is? Getting a free hour. I'm at work.
Listen, we thank you. We appreciate you. One more time, please let the people know where they can follow you.
Please follow me on Facebook, Universal Hands, Instagram. You can follow me at BWS Kelli. You can follow me on Instagram, Community Restoration, Universal Hands on Facebook. Got my LinkedIn at Universal 1921. And I'm involved with the Juneteenth NY, so
Yes.
any which way.
Yeah, see her there. Make sure you're there. Once again, make sure you follow me at Forever NBG on everything, foreverNBG.com, at Forever NBG on Instagram. Make sure you check out I Had a Praying Grandmother. I Had a Praying Grandmother shop, and check out our Instagram at I Had a Praying Grandmother. And make sure you follow Juneteenth on everything, Juneteenth NY. Please check us out. Go to our Instagram, our Facebook, our website, JuneteenthNY.com. And that wraps up our Lunch and Learn session today. Kelli, thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you for everybody that tuned in today. And we'll see y'all next week. Same time, same place. Peace. What's going on, Juneteenth family?
I have to take the lead because if I don't now, when will I do it?
These are all dance groups mixes from since the 90s.
And risks are important. Risk creates results.
Make sure that you surround yourself with not only the word, but with positivity.
Foremost for having me on for Lunch and Learn.
We start off by wearing all of the hats. Pun intended right there with the hats.
But we special needs children and disabilities. I have over 30 years plus experience as a quality professional.
We basically reconstructing what we took part in deconstruct, all the street maintenance. That's how we came up with street maintenance.
I almost had to deal with MCA Records at the age of 19.
Wait
I also partner with other daycare. We're not in a competition yet. We're not in a competition.